packed everything I own onto a $6,000 adventure bike and rode 1,000 miles alone. By day 2, I almost quit. What started as a simple budget ride turned into something I wasn't prepared for mentally, physically, and honestly, emotionally in ways that surprised me. If you've ever thought about taking a long solo ride on a cheap ADV bike, stay with me. Because what happened out there might be the most useful thing you hear before you go. Welcome back to Riders Pro. This wasn't supposed to be a story. It was supposed to be a test. One honest question riding around in my head for months. Do you actually need an expensive adventure bike to go far? Or do you just need the courage to start? So I chose a budget ADV machine, around $6,000. No cruise control, no semi-active suspension, no heated grips, no electronic safety net. Just a bike with a full tank, a route marked on my phone, and whatever I thought I knew about long-distance riding. 1,000 miles, solo, what could possibly go wrong? The first morning was everything. Cool air pushing through the vents of the helmet. Tires on fresh tarmac. That specific kind of lightness you only feel at the very beginning of something, before reality has had a chance to introduce itself. The bike felt alive, responsive and honest. Every fuel stop felt like a scene from a film I was writing as I went. Watching the sun drop behind a ridge somewhere around mile 200, I genuinely thought, this is it. This is exactly why I ride. But long rides don't test you on day 1. They save that for later. Day 2 arrived with a different atmosphere entirely. The seat that felt fine, yesterday had transformed overnight into something unforgiving. The wind noise, constant, low, wearing, had found a frequency that lived behind my eyes. And the vibrations that a budget single cylinder sends through the bars and pegs and seat, the ones you absorb without noticing for the first 100 miles, had by mile 400 settled into my lower back and decided to stay. Then came the mental weight. No music, no conversation. Just the road and your own thoughts, growing louder with every kilometer, the way they do, when there's nothing to distract them. Somewhere around mile 600, in the gray light of a roadside levee, with a cold coffee and a body that had opinions about everything, I pulled over. And for the first time, I asked myself a question I hadn't expected to ask. Why am I actually doing this? There's a moment in every long solo ride that doesn't appear in highlight reels. It's not dramatic. There's no weather event, no mechanical failure, no close call to blame it on. It's just quiet. You're tired. You're sore. The road ahead looks exactly like the road behind. And going home, which felt like giving up 48 hours ago, suddenly sounds like the most reasonable idea you've ever had. I stood there in the wind, looking at a machine that had somehow gotten heavier since yesterday, and I understood for the first time why people quit. Not because they're weak, because they're honest. I didn't quit, but not for a dramatic reason. I quit expecting the wrong things. Somewhere in that levee, I understood what I'd been doing wrong since the first mile. I was asking a $6,000 machine to give me the experience of a $15,000 one. I was fighting the bike's character instead of riding with it. The moment I stopped expecting comfort from something built for simplicity, everything shifted. Day 3 was harder on paper. More miles, less sleep, a headwind that arrived around noon and refused to leave. But something had changed in how I was sitting on that bike. Shorter fuel stops, better posture, less fighting the bars through corners. I stopped riding at the road and started reading it. And the bike, the same machine that felt like a problem, the day before started feeling like a collaborator, honest, predictable, entirely itself. Here is what a budget adventure bike will and won't give you. It will take you 1,000 miles. Probably further if you're willing. It will not protect your back from its own vibration. It will not save you from your own fatigue with electronics. It will not hide bad decisions behind good suspension. It gives you exactly what you pay for, the experience of riding. Stripped of everything that makes riding easy, which, depending on who you are, is either the problem or the entire point. The final stretch felt different from everything that came before it. Not because the terrain got easier or the weather cooperated, it didn't. But somewhere between the discomfort and the silence and the 200 miles of road still ahead, I stopped trying to finish and just started riding. That's a distinction that sounds small. It isn't. You don't need a $15,000 motorcycle to have a real adventure. But you do need something that no price tag covers. The willingness to keep going past the point where stopping feels reasonable, because that's where the ride actually begins. The machine gets you there. What happens after that is entirely you. So I want your honest answer. Could you ride 1,000 miles? Alone on a budget bike? Or would day 2 be the end of it? Drop it in the comments. No judgment either way. And subscribe to Riders Pro, because next up we're breaking down the exact gear setup that would have made this ride significantly more survivable. That one's coming soon. Disclaimer: this script is produced for informational and entertainment purposes only. Riding scenarios, distances, and personal observations are based on creative storytelling and real-world rider community experiences. Always ride within your skill level and prepare appropriately for long-distance solo riding. Riders Pro holds no liability for decisions made based on this content.